Hello again, everybody, and welcome to our show. What would you do if you were lost in the woods and you didn't have an axe, a knife, or matches? Would you be worried? Well, not if you were tonight's first guest.
My name is André François Bourbeau, and I'm a guy that enjoys life. I like the old days, the old times. I like primitive skills. And so I like to be out here where I can understand everything that I touch.
In 1984, André François Bourbeau put his knowledge of wilderness survival to the test. With a friend, he endured 31 grueling days in the bush with no gear of any kind. His experiment set a world record that still stands.
When you have no gear with you because it's an accident and you're not expecting it, the only thing that will make the difference in your resistance time is your knowledge.
Could you go stark naked into the woods and survive overnight?
If it was a day like today and you put me out here naked, yes, I will still be here next week.
You'll find a way to get warm.
Oh, yeah.
Bourbeau's mission in life is to learn how people survived in the Canadian wilderness 400 years ago.
Well, I'm a researcher. My gut feeling is I want to know what it was like to live in those days.
Oui, j'ai vu un orignal tantôt.
Un orignal?
Un orignal.
Un matin?
Oui, ça. Ce matin.
Une minute. Surprise. Today we're going to do a special survival activity. You're going to be English-speaking tourists today. Okay? Yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the wilderness as if we were tourists, so you don't get to wear your pack sack.
These people are actually André François' students at the University of Quebec in Chicoutimi. With no trepidation, they're leaving behind packs filled with modern survival gear.
Let's go. This is going to be good stuff.
They're following the professor into the woods empty-handed because his lesson for the day is how to build an emergency shelter.
Watch your eyes.
The old way.
The first thing we're looking for is a spot that's sheltered from wind. I've developed a pattern of learning survival skills which duplicates the way old-timers used to learn stuff through trial and error. And these things can only be learned by doing simulated survival situations. Look at the cliff, got lots of shelter from wind, and look at all the materials around here.
So when you bring your students out to the wilderness like this, what is it that you're teaching them?
You know, the course is called the Bachelor's of Outdoor Pursuits and Adventure Tourism.
Survival is part of your course, then?
Yes.
Because
we're teaching them to do high adventure activities like climbing, dog sledding, canoeing, and all of those things. You never know when something can happen, which is why you always have to be prepared. For example, what have you got in your pockets right now?
This is all I've got right here. I've got
Well, that's better than most people.
Are you telling me I can survive with this?
Yeah, that's an incredible help.
My father always taught me, always carry a jackknife.
Good for you. We need bark for the roof, long poles for the ridges. We need logs for the walls. Anything you can gather, you go get it and you bring it back quick as you can. But save energy, be careful at the same time. Security always first.
Have you always had this bent to get out into the woods?
What's your step?
As a kid, what did you do?
Oh, as a kid, every day we're out in the wilderness because it's our playground. The playground was the slingshots, your Tarzan, your swinging from the trees. This is my youth, was Tarzan.
You spent your youth like that?
Yes.
Here, around Chicoutimi?
No, I was in northern Ontario
in northern Ontario.
In little French-speaking villages. 1, 2, 3, That's a good solid one.
All right.
Who would you say had the greatest influence on your life?
I had several mentors.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mostly old-timers and old Indian folk had the most influence on
people
me.
with bush savvy.
Yeah, I remember when I was about 15 years old reading a Jules Verne novel by the name of The Mysterious Island. In that novel, there's an engineer, and he has the answer to everything on how to recreate society. Like, he knew how to make the fires, how to make the shelters, how to make anything. And then he was amazing in that novel. And I said, hey, I want to be like him.
That independent approach to life has since become an integral part of Professor Bourbeau's teaching.
I like to dress the part sometimes. So I wear my coureur de bois costume, and it just kind of adds to the atmosphere of primitive. Aujourd'hui, on a une démonstration de feu sans allumette. Kids get a kick out of seeing me disguised like that when I do that kind of show.
A tireless researcher, André Francois spends hours on the internet, contributing to a primitive skills group.
When you see me munching down on a stalk of dog bane for making rope, well, I learned that from somebody in the primitive skills group. Ça fait du matériel.
You made this in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, I was just twisting a piece of rope out of grass like this.
This is tough.
No, you can't break this. You can't break this.
You could go down a cliff, climb a tree. You could do it with just grass.
Well, we've made ropes like this, about this big around, because once you've got one this big, then of course you can twist it together and make one that's twice as big.
Bigger again.
Bigger again. Hey everyone, let's test this before we go any further. Hop on, okay?
Yeah. While the bulk of André Francois' work is outside, some of it, by necessity, takes place inside the university.
It's a big difference.
Last night, it was the thermal engineering lab, where he was using a drill press to test fire by friction.
The problem here, Pierre, is that it's making a coal, almost making a coal, and throwing it out before it's really hot enough to form a coal.
Yep. What draws you to this survival thing? What is the mystique, the magic? What is it?
I don't know. There's something very special about that, which is every time I start a fire without matches, why does everybody gather around? There's something mystique about that. I think it's a little bit like the lion in a cage. He just wants to be free of that cage. And me, I like to be a little bit free of this society that I have to depend upon, absolutely.
Hey! What about around us, in the woods? What's in here that you could use big time in a survival picture?
Oh boy, take this birch bark, for example. If I heat it enough and make it pliable enough, then I can fold this and fold it again this way. Now, if you want to hold this right there, then I'll show you the other half of it, the handle here.
Yeah.
When I take this cup here and push on here, it'll split it open and hold it open like this. And there's a little cup for you.
Look at that.
This is a right-handed spoon.
It's great.
I'll have a nice one here. It's going to work good on top.
To me, this is what primitive skills is all about. You can touch nature. That's good, Dominic. I see a hole right there.
This passion you have for teaching others, showing others this way of life, what's the importance of that in your mind?
To me, this is a fundamental mission inside of my heart, to get people to understand what nature is all about.
Good.
And the bounties that it offers and the inner strength it can provide. Thank you, everyone.
Are you warm now, Dr. Bourbeau? Yes,
I'm one of the fortunate few people on planet Earth, because if I wasn't paid a single penny, I would be doing what I do anyway, because I enjoy it so much. So all the tourists nice and warm now? Yes. Good work. Good work, everybody.
It's time to get up right away. Wait any longer and it's catch up all day.